because apparently there's a coffee machine which can make a lot of noise, and then you won't be able to hear the words of wisdom which are going to be sprouted today. So perhaps those people in the last couple of rows would like to occupy the chairs at the front. Not many takers. Okay. Okay, parking's difficult, so we may have one or two people coming in a little bit later. But I'd like to welcome you all here today, and thank you very much for coming. I'd like to introduce Liam Philp, who's the new president of the CFU. He's sitting here in these bright colors on my right. And Daniel Berger, who comes from the Quick area, isn't it? And well done, you two. Thank you very much for coming. And Sam Miller, many of you will know, who's the director of the CFU. And Louise, who's trying to escape, who's the secretary to the CFU. Thank you very much for all attending. All right. So we have a number of apologies to write. To record. Graham Hattie, Kathy and Greg Taylor, Alan McGregor, Richard Taylor, Neville Baker, Charlie Tafts, Adrian Hossack, and Baron Dardigan have all contacted me and sent their apologies. The minutes of the previous meeting on the 7th of September last year have been circulated, and I hope I call for, if there's any discussion, otherwise I call for a proposer. Thank you, Robin. And a seconder. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Harry, to second them. Any matters arising out of those minutes from last year? Thank you. Nothing. Without further ado, I'll get out my 20-page report in small type and occupy your attention for a couple of hours, I suppose. This is the ARAC Chairman's report for the 27th of June, 2024. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, members of ARAC and the ARAC Subcommittee of CFU, good afternoon, and thank you all for attending personally or by Zoom. On behalf of our ARAC Committee, it is my honor to welcome you all to our 2024 and 13th ARAC AGM and Chairman's report back. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2010, Ben Gilpin, our then ARAC manager, reported as such: the financial survival is an unending challenge to many of our farming community. This is particularly so for the more aged. At the start of the land invasions, the average age of our farmers was around 55, and this puts many of our farmers now over 65 years of age. Most of their life savings into the businesses. Put most of their life savings into the businesses and had no other provision for old age. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are currently 14 years on since Ben's report, and which makes our average age closer to 80 years old, with all that entails for health, and financial well-being. Indeed, many of our colleagues have passed. We will each have our own cherished memories of loved ones who have left us. The past half year has seen the demise of some notable and iconic members of our communities. Notably, John Laurie, whom I have often highlighted and lauded his achievements in past reports, Rob Beverley of the Lowveld, and Nick Swanepoel suddenly, to mention just a few, and those who have contributed so much trying to achieve a resolution to our compensation. So may I again call for a few moments' silence while we remember our former colleagues who contributed so much to Zimbabwe's many past agricultural successes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that. I would like to start with a few gratuities. ARAC has been able to direct some members to the Farm Family Trust who sometimes cooperated with Old Legs Tour to assist with medical finances. I cannot overemphasize our admiration for these two organizations and the work they have done easing many people's medical woes. I thank all of you involved for the wonderful efforts you have put into helping our aged constituency. Both organizations are worthy of your support to continue their missions. Please support them if you can. Charles Taft continues to fight his health issues, and we wish him to fully recover and enjoy his ever-increasing family. Charles, you will remember, led the CFU and later the CSC, running up to the successful signing of the GCD in 2020. This was acclaimed by the vast majority of dispossessed farmers and the international community. I want to put it on record our thanks to Charles for his service to us all. I would also like to highlight Andrew Pascoe's service to the CFU and to the CSC over the past 4 years. Thank you, Andy, for standing as president of the CFU for 4 years. This in the absence of any other takers. You have fulfilled an important role keeping CFU alive. Thank you. Liam Philp has been appointed as our new CFU president, with Daniel Berger, who I introduced earlier, as his vice president. I thank them both for taking on these demanding positions and wish them all success in their drive to improve the service to on-farm farmers. Their youth will stand them in good stead in this endeavor. Their stated intent is to ensure that commercial agriculture increasingly recovers into the powerhouse it once was. It will require tact, perseverance, and probably a deal of time. And I do hope that all active farmers can gather round and support them. ARAC is a subcommittee appointed and duly recognized in the CFU Constitution. Its chairman holds a single seat on CFU Council. However, substantially, ARAC can only recommend to Council and not dictate its wishes. It has led to a situation whereby CFU councils, who are in the main representatives of active producers and commodity associations, have the power to direct the policies of the CFU. The CFU has been criticized with some justification as having been too focused on compensation issues. The focus of Council will now be to return to active farming matters. It is true, however, that ultimately compensation is closely related to successful commercial agriculture. And this is reflected in our name, the Agricultural Recovery and Compensation, as the acronym ARAC. Therein lies the nub of the new strategy of our incoming Presidium have proposed. The new strategy proposes to separate the CFU Council into pure agricultural considerations away from the compensation policies which it proposes will be handled by a new compensation steering committee. I commend Ian and Daniel for their efforts they are making to supply the services traditionally offered by the CFU years ago. We need such young minds if commercial agriculture is to thrive. On the other hand, I am anxious about the proposed composition of the new Compensation Steering Committee. The CFU is keen to be seen to represent all dispossessed farmers. I think this is right, but it will be a complex and difficult balancing act with the advent of the government's Farmers' Compensation Agreement of 2023 offer to compensate all individual farmers after the rejection of the former government proposal to amend the GCD. There are very many farmers who wish to accept this arrangement. Other farmers have declined it, and they ask, what do the title deed holders who do not wish to accept the Treasury bonds offer do? I have no answer, although there are multiple views touted on social media. But I would ask, how are the CFU going to assist those its members who wish to accept the government offer? Surely they should also have a voice. In the new strategy, it has been proposed to effectively replace the old CSC with a new body comprising 2 CFU representatives. It is, as of early this morning, unknown who they would wish to appoint. Having had a council meeting this morning, they now have put up some names. 2 SACFA representatives who have initiated the litigation against government, and they may have a conflict in their mandate. 2 SAI-ZIM representatives, we don't really know who they are, but who appear to be self-appointed local. The South African SAI arrangement, and include, I think, two past presidents of the CFU. I wonder a little bit where all the other past presidents of the CFU are and if they were consulted. There are 4 advisory professional persons advised, which is a very good idea if they are not too expensive or they are pro bono. One of the huge problems with CSC in the past, there was absolutely no funding at all, and it was all managed by the people involved at their own private expense. The nub of it is that ARAC is not mentioned in this strategy at all. This seems to me to be a significantly unbalanced arrangement and may be liable to antagonize the authorities with whom it will have to engage. I would like to project my view of the division between the title deed holders. For a variety of reasons, perfectly reasonable people are perplexed by the options title deed holders have. On the one hand, there is the latest government FCA offer of 2023, colloquially known as the PROFCA deal. No one claims it to be a good deal. It is not. On the other hand, and for a variety of other reasons, there are those who choose not to accept it, particularly because of the Treasury bond settlement, but also for other, often principled reasons. And it can only be for individual title deed holders to decide his particular response. When one asks, what is it that you hope to achieve by not accepting this offer, the replies include better values, better interest rate, no bond issues, restitution, respect for property rights, change in the 2013 Constitution, that's the Zimbabwe Constitution, for better governments, etc. All laudable issues. And I guess that we would all wish for those self-same things. The elephant in the room is what is the reality of achieving any of these wishes. Make no mistake, the government FCA 2023 offer is not in any way nearly as good as the 2020 GCD offer. But I ask, what is the alternative? And I am yet to hear any credible, funded offer as any alternative on the table, let alone any hope for those farmers in penury now. Claims that the majority of farmers favor a particular course of action are currently fanciful. With only 38% response in the CFU survey of March last year, neither course of action could then claim to be more than a 20% support in the overall constituency. So time will tell. Turning to the future, stabilizing land tenure must be foremost of the aims of us all. Without a proper instrument assuring the land user of his tenure, there will be little encouragement to invest, let alone maintain properties. The new 99-year lease has not yet been published. It is to be hoped that it will at least offer bankability and universal transferability, allowing banks to lend funds to approved clients. Anything less will be useless and unusable. The question of compensation for land is another major issue to be tackled. Preliminary discussions with various stakeholders indicate that there could be an appetite to support proposals under certain conditions. Success at the three-pillar negotiations being one. In addition, it is clear that a proper land tenure arrangement must be in place. In July 2020, the government signed a little-known agreement together with the GCD we all know about. It effectively states that government will not pay for land, but it will not hinder farmers seeking the funding arrangements for land compensation, nor challenge the valuation set by Valcon. Emanating from the indecisive CFU survey of April of 23 and the expressed view of the vast majority of those attending the ARAC meeting of 23 on September the 7th, a voluntary association known as PROFCA emerged as a home for those farmers who choose to accept the government offer of December 2023. It will be of interest to all farmers that so far 28% of all farmer titles, 4,820, have accepted the FCA 2023 deal, while only 4% have declined. To date, there have been 32% response from all titles. I do not propose to report on PROFCA's activities. They are a voluntary association independent of the CFU and ARAC and focus entirely on the best interests of farmers accepting the FCA 2023 government offer. They have an opportunity to report back and answer questions later in this agenda. Later this afternoon, you will be asked to support two resolutions. The first is that the ARAC AGM recommends to Council that ARAC remains as constituted. We are in the CFU Constitution of 2013. This resolution refers to the new strategy proposed by the CFU to deal with compensation whereby ARAC appears to have been sidelined entirely. So it appears that ARAC has no place in this strategy, other than perhaps as part of the CFU representation. Despite having driven this process for over a decade and a half, I ask this forum if it is your wish to discontinue ARAC after all it has done. This is the background to the resolution before you today. Following that, and as a consequence of a successful outcome of the first resolution, then ARAC proposes to Council that the ARAC membership subscription should remain the same for the 2024-25 term. The CFU Council is largely made up of representatives of regional councils, which have largely been decimated by poor membership and support. A few gallant people have endeavoured to garner support to present their points of view in Council about farming issues as the regional representatives. However, despite CFU mandating the Compensation Steering Committee up to the end of March, some members of the Council have vigorously criticised CSC's actions. Fundamentally, the issue is this. There is a divide within Council, as there is within the whole dispossessed farmers' body, concerning the approach to compensation. As mentioned earlier, there are those who believe that the government offer is too small and there's too small a coupon rate, spread over too long a period, and there is a certain risk about the Treasury bonds' performance. We probably all agree. And so the division arises between those who believe that they can do something about it and those who believe there will be no change to government's attitude and will accept what they can now and for all sorts of reasons. Other former farm owners, or if you like, title deed holders, wish for restitution and a change in the Zimbabwe constitution, etc. They say they are prepared to sit it out for the long haul. For those of us born in the first half of the last century, this is not an option. Unless you have an alternate income you hope to pass on to your heirs. The above conflict and the proposed new strategy led the CFU Council to delay confirming the CSC's mandate renewal in March 24. I have done the CSC Steering Committee have done their very best to engage with government and to reach an improved deal. The FCA 2023 is the outcome. The CSC was formed over 7 years ago by John Laurie. He initially chaired it for 2 years until he became infirm, but who supported it until the end. He was followed by Charlie Taffs, leading to the Global Compensation Deed of 2020, which was acclaimed both internally and globally. Charlie later stood down due to ill health, and finally Nick Swanepoel bravely took up the chairmanship until his untimely passing. These chairmen, together with other members of the CEO, have persevered, trying to balance farmers' requirements to the government's ability and will to pay. It has been a demanding long-term task, both mentally and physically. Meeting weekly as a committee, sometimes daily, with various ministries, diplomats, Bretton Woods institutes, farmers' meetings, Valcon, CFU Council, etc., I should say. It has been an arduous exercise. The significant costs have been borne entirely by the committee members themselves. And I would like to highlight John Reed Rowland's enormous pro bono contribution. He guided us through the tortuous engagements and negotiations with government lawyers in the early days. John has recently suffered the agonizing tragedy of losing his home to fire. John, you have our entire sympathy, and we all hope that you will fare better soon. Few other people came forward to offer CSC their advice face to face, and no one accepted the invitations to join the CSC. we extended to join the CSC. Of course, there were alternative opinions voiced on social media. The less extreme were always considered, but usually they had been thought through by us and rejected by government months, if not years ago. We would wish to express our deep appreciation by all of us for all the CSC's efforts on behalf of us. And despite the outcome being attractive to some of us, I have little doubt in my mind that without their dedication, there would be no agreement of any kind today. Thank you very much, the CSC members. ARAC has only held one committee meeting since our last AGM in September. This while the CFU Council sorts out its new strategy and amends its constitution. The following ARAC members have indicated their intention to offer themselves for re-election: Ian McKersey, Robin Whirlybirch, Toc Arnold, Byron Dardigan, Stuart Beverley, Ian Kay, Ian Gibson, and myself. That's 8 of us. Many of us served for over 5 years and may require a 2/3 majority approval to continue. I hope you will endorse these dedicated people. I have received proposals passed to the Director of CFU from Len Thomas and Richard Taylor to replace Harry Orphanides and Adrian Hossack, who have both chosen not to stand for re-election to the ARAC committee. In fact, Adrian resigned a couple of months ago, and I'm most grateful for the service they have performed. Indeed, Harry has also been heavily involved with the CSU. Thank you both. This completes the 10 members allowed for our mandate from CFU. I have not been informed of any other proposed committee members. On the personal note, I would like to announce that it has been my honor to serve you all for the past 11 years as your chairman. But it has come to that time for me to stand down from that position. That being said, I have reoffered myself as a committee member requiring a 2/3 majority support. Each of us are indebted to our wives for their encouragement and support. Thank you to all of them. To the staff of the CFU, Louise in particular, but also your other members, you have stuck to your tasks tirelessly for many years, and holding the ship together, you have enabled its continuation. Thank you for your continued loyalty under extremely difficult times, and I wish you every success supporting the Commodity Council to be announced. Thank you so much. It remains for me to thank our ARAC members, that's you, and the ARAC committee members, Andrew Pascoe, Liam Philp, our ex officio vice chairman, Byron Dardigan, Harry Orphanides, Robin Whirlybirch, Stuart Beverley, Ian Kay, Adrian Hossack, Ian McKersey, Ian Gibson, and Toc Arnold for their time and effort and support and perseverance for the cause, all for no financial reward. Thank you, Dandaro. I don't know where Brian is, but thank you, Dandaro, for the use of your facility. And to you, our membership, your support is so appreciated, as will be your updated subscriptions. Thank you for your time and for your attention. Patrick Ashton. Thank you. Right, I propose to ask for the adoption of the chairman's report. So please could I have a proposer and seconder? Thank you. John Perrott, and was anyone listening? Arthur Paisley. It's my pleasure to invite William, my name has got Liam, not William, Liam Philp to give a CFU report.
Thank you, Patrick. Can everyone hear me at the back? Oh, Works a lot better when you hold it close to your mouth, Patrick. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and participate in the meeting here today. I would like to thank those who have joined remotely, who were unable to come in person today. The interest in what is happening in the CFU and ARAC is very important. Active participation is essential. I want to recognize Harry, Alan, Patrick, and the rest of the team who've done a fantastic job carrying this initiative forward over the last 10 years, probably more. It's a thankless task, and you gentlemen have managed to achieve something which was seen to and previously thought to be unachievable. You've set a foundation, and from that foundation you have catalyzed an option for some title deed holders with an appetite to move forward. And I want to thank you for that. It's great personal sacrifice which has been made. And Patrick, as always, a true gentleman. I'm not going to have a speech as well prepared as you. I just want to recognize that from the bottom of our hearts, we honestly appreciate all that you've done. Can we have a round of applause? It's an honor to stand here before you today as the new president of the CFU. As you can see, I'm a slightly younger model, and to make myself look a little bit older and try and get a little bit more respect, I brought in an even younger model. He's not a model, he's not a younger model. We have a great vision for the future of agriculture in Zimbabwe. We believe that we have to tackle things differently. Tackling things in the same way as we have been doing over many years and expecting a different response would be foolhardy. Andy carried the union, as Patrick said, for 4 years with very little support. I've been very, very fortunate to have Daniel. We contact each other regularly when it's time to make a decision. We need to bounce ideas off each other. And Daniel is a rock for me and my leadership. And Andy, I just want to recognize that you had a tough task doing this alone. It wasn't easy, and I know that you tried to get people in, and council members tried to get support for you as well. I recognize that that was a lonely task, and I thank you for steering the union through very difficult times. We have developed a new strategy for the union, and we are doing things differently. We have been fortunate enough to be able to encourage some new, young, and energetic participation through council, and the work which is being done behind the scenes, which is perhaps being done before but not communicated as well, has been recognized by the farming community. We understood that for the union to move forward in its prime, I don't want to use the wrong term here, but primary, the CFU was set up to support agriculture. Because of land reform, things had to change. The union structures have been proven over 81 years. I think it's our 81st Congress this year. We need to bring the union back into agriculture. And in order to do that, we have to shift our focus. We have to become a lean, mean fighting machine with a very clear focus on what we're setting out to achieve. and I believe that we are making good headway. But we also have a big number of members who are not active farmers. They are former farmers, title deed holders, and they are relying on us as the apex body of agriculture to support them. This is absolutely essential, and we're at a point where there's two pathways. There's a pathway which has been created, the Profca initiative, and there's a second pathway. You heard today a lot of people ask, what is this pathway? Is there anything tangible? Is there anyone who's going to fund it? And the answer is no, there's nothing tangible at this stage. No, there's no one lined up to fund it. But what we need to do is we need to create the space, and we need to create the team who's going to develop and drive this initiative forwards. If there isn't a team to represent us, an initiative will not be there. The Profca initiative appeals to some, and it's a very personal decision. Nobody can tell you that you should sign up or you shouldn't sign up. It all depends on your risk profile and your personal circumstances. We are told that so far 700 farmers have indicated interest in it. I understand that registration process is being opened, and I'm sure we'll hear more about that later on. But there's a much bigger number of farmers who haven't signed up, and those farmers need representation. We do not want to see ARAC disbanded. That's certainly not the case. Our preference will be for the compensation and agriculture recovery to be housed within ARAC. But it has to be an ARAC fit for purpose. We heard just now that since the last AGM, ARAC has had one meeting. You're not going to achieve compensation and you're not going to achieve agriculture recovery with one meeting since your last AGM. On the other hand, I believe that there's been numerous Profca meetings, maybe 2, 3 a week. And I think that that is demonstrated. If you put your energy and focus into something, you can achieve. Profca has achieved a remarkable agreement with government. It's a milestone, and it's there for some. But we need a team who can deliver and develop with our development partners, the government of Zimbabwe, and the farmers, a new pathway. It's not a short-term pathway. I don't see anything being achieved inside of 2 years. We're probably looking at 3 to 5 years. But if we're honest with ourselves, we know a few things. The first thing is we know that the government doesn't have the money to fund the compensation. Otherwise, it would have been done already. We know that our economy is in a very tough position at the moment. And on the back of the drought, it's not going to get any better. We know that we, as a country, have been isolated. Although things are thawing, we are working through a process, a 3-pillar process, to move towards debt relief. And if that process moved quicker, that would unlock potential investment to come into Zimbabwe for compensation. But as we stand at the moment, there's no money there. And I think we all recognize that. What we've got to do is we've got to look at developing an agricultural recovery plan, which encompasses compensation, and is appetizing to everybody. That's the task that the new compensation committee has at hand. We need young, no disrespect, Patrick, slightly younger. I'll buy you a beer later. We need young, energetic, out-of-the-box thinkers, people who are fantastic communicators, people who can work together in a team, people who can can engage with the farmers, the government, the international community, and put this recipe together, which is going to result in a fantastic meal for everybody. But if we're not in the game, it's never going to be there. And we'll sit here in a year's time, and 2 years' time, and 3 years' time, and say, what is the alternative? What is there for us? What is there for those who don't want to accede to the FCA agreement? And I think for those people who are acceding to the FCA agreement, it's in your interests to have another team working on an alternative. Because if the FCA doesn't deliver results, we don't want to be back at square one, starting negotiations and starting to build something again, which is going to take perhaps another 5, 10 years. We need that plan to be developed now. We need it to be ready. If the FCA doesn't work, those people who have signed up and there's been a default, from what I understand, you can withdraw from the FCA and you can jump on the other train. But we've got to build this train, and we need support of everybody to build it. If we don't have the support, this train is never going to be built, and it's not going to leave the station. I think we have received proposals. Patrick is obviously not aware of them. There are proposals which have been made for some new blood in the ARAC committee. And I am calling on you, title deed holders here today, to support the new and proposed team to develop and drive this initiative forward. If we can develop and drive this forward, it's going to deliver results. And I think it's also really important for me to highlight at this stage that I personally support the initiative which the ARAC/PROFCA team has put together. There are people amongst and within our community who don't have 3 to 5 years, which I think this new agriculture recovery plan is going to take to develop. The interim relief payments, which were stopped by government, were providing some relief to the elderly within our community. I believe that those people have an option with the initiative which has been put together. And I thank you for the work that has been put into that. And I think that it's really important for us to build bridges. When I came into the CFU, I felt and I vocalized that that's what I want to be remembered for. This is about building bridges. This is about bringing our community back together. And also understanding and recognizing that we have different appetites. But if someone eats prawns and someone eats chicken, it doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we can't sit at the table and eat together. We've got to find a way to work together, and we're getting there. If you had attended maybe the first 2 council meetings of this year, you would have been quite shocked. It was very combative. And the last 3 meetings, I can say things are coming together. We've had very constructive meetings, and I'm very proud to be part of the CFU team. And I'm indebted and extremely grateful to all the councillors who've stepped forwards and given of their time and made personal sacrifices to deliver for all of the farming members out there. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for allowing me an opportunity to give a presentation on the CFU, and I would like to hand back over to you.
Thank you, Liam. There's an opportunity for Profka to give a brief report, if you'd like to. They'll take questions, if you have any questions you'd like to offer. Okay. No questions. It's all clear. The resolution before this AGM is that the ARAC AGM recommends to Council that the ARAC remains as constituted. It's proposed by myself. I mentioned it in my report back. And then it's seconded by Robin Worley-Birch. I don't think we need to extend any more time describing the proposal. Perhaps we could have a vote on that by raising hands. Okay, looks as though we've got at least half. Oh, I thought perhaps you might, Ian. You did miss it. You did miss it, I think, probably. Yes, that's correct. And there, it was on the proposal, and it was accepted by the people there. Well, no, because there were 4 dissenters and 6 acceptors. Did you want to say why you don't want it to continue, Eric? It appeared as though you did.
He did not even have the new CFU proposal for the restructuring of the union. None of that was discussed. So we were in a band to wait what the proposal from the new CFU council was to how to restructure the union. So how we can then put it on so we're in agreement or against it, I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson. You must be one of the few people who didn't get the strategy from the CFU. The director confirms it's fine, what we've done. I would propose to continue with that resolution. We had an initial acceptance of it. Please, can we confirm that again? Do we want to count or... Okay, the director says he needs it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I didn't see you. 20. Let me count again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
26?
27.
7. Okay, and those who are against?
1, 2, 3. Count again, put your hand up. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Okay, the resolution is passed and will be passed on to the CFU Council. The successful passing of that resolution leads us to the second resolution. ARAC proposes to Council that the ARAC membership subscription remain the same for the 2024-25 term. That's again proposed by me and seconded by Robin Worley-Birch. Does anyone like any discussion about it, or perhaps they'd like to put the subscription up? Okay. Righto. So may we have a vote on that one? Please raise your hands if you request it to be the same as last year. Mr. Director, do you want to count again? Perhaps we could just say those who wish it to change.
So stick your hands up so we can count. Those who want to change, that would be easier. Who would like to change?
Nobody wants it changed.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, not 100%, but those who put their hands up. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that. I'm going to hand over to the director of the CFU now for the election of committee members. To my astonishment, we've had another
5 or 6 people just presented to us, and 10 people just presented to us in front of us as applicants to take over as ARAC committee members. So I'll leave it to the director to sort that muddle out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a little bit difficult, so I'm going to ask you please to try and assist and listen. We have a number of new proposals for new members of the ARAC committee. All right? That will be Len Thomas, okay, and Richard Taylor. Are you second? Okay. We then have Angus Selby, Regina Brown, Aidan Book Jackson, sorry, Ian Kay, Stuart Beverly, Gordon Chance, Ian Barker, Dion Caron, and Mr. Erndal. So I please keep calling Mr. Erndal. We also then have people who are up for re-election. Let's just name all these people. Ian McCurdy, Robin Wiley Birch, Top Arnold, Byron Dodigan, Stuart Beverly, Ian Kay, Ian Gibson, and Patrick Ashton. What I'm going to suggest we do is go for the re-elected people. Okay, the majority of these guys have served for a long period, anywhere between 3 and 5 years. All right. And what I'd suggest we do. This is going to be difficult. Okay, we're going to go one at a time, guys, and we can vote for each person as we go. It's going to be difficult, but then at the end what we'll do is we'll take those numbers and we'll take off the lower numbers and start again until we get the right number. Are we in agreement with that? We have 20 people that we're going to do elections for. So the quickest way is to elect the lower numbers we just take off. No, we've got 2 duplicates. Sorry, you're right. Yes, 2 duplicates. Yeah. The 2 duplicates is obviously Stuart Beverly and Ian Kay. All right, are we happy with that methodology, guys? Okay, the 2 rules, people, that we need to be very clear on here is, does anybody have any proxies here? One proxy? Where are they? Can we just have them so we can see? Another proxy? You got it, okay? The other rule is that only paid up members are entitled to vote. Okay?
Okay. Should we try and get someone?
Sorry, Susie, as you gave this to me, can I ask you, the actual proxies here, you've got 60 of them here, who are they representing? The 10 people that you have the nominations for? Okay, I'm confused. Okay, against the 10 people. Susie, what we're going to need to ask you, because you did hand them to us, is exactly who are the 10 people. We've got 2 on this list, which are duplicated in your list already. So are those who you're proposing? Yes, please, if you can. Well, I agree, but that's another story. Yes, you can. Would you like? Sorry, thanks, Susie. Behind you.
Thank you. I, Susie Haynes, a paid-up member of the Commercial Farmers Union, have a representation of 61 proxies by confirmed members of the CFU or ARAC, and those proxies are to vote for Aidan Brooke-Jackson, Ian Barker, Gordon Chance, Georgina Brown, Angus Selby, Dion Taron, Mike Odendahl, Ian McKersey, Ian Kay, and Stuart Beverley.
Okay, on the back of that, of Susie's nominations there, I'd like to ask those people sitting here, all right, who would vote, who of all of you guys are voting for those same nominations? One? Yes, you can. Should be Eric. Correct. Susie, can you answer that? Out of your 60 people, how many of those are CFU and how many of them are ARAC?
Whether you're a CFU paid-up member or an ARAC paid-up member, you're a member of the Commercial Farmers Union.
That's true. She's right, it's true. Sorry. Andy?
ARAC is agricultural recovery and compensation. So agricultural recovery is definitely in the wheelhouse of CFU and farming members. Compensation is unique to those who are not within, and I believe that's why there is a subsidized rate. So interestingly, we have more ARAC members and farming members within the CFU. Trevor, you were raising your hand.
You know, it doesn't make sense. Sorry, I was just going to say a title deed holder is a title deed holder. And if a title deed holder is able or has managed to continue farming or has found a way to farm, it doesn't mean that they don't have an issue of compensation at heart. So, you know, for me, I think we're part of the same team, guys.
Trevor, I agree with you. The issue that I do have, if I may, is that Andy's point is something that is stuck in my head, is the fact of the matter is if we could get all of the CFU guys in here, then yeah. So you're saying CFU can vote on ARAC, but ARAC can't vote on CFU, because that's what we're saying.
I think the differentiation is if you're a former farmer or title deed holder. So if you are a title deed holder, invested in compensation, but currently farming, you can't be excluded. You are a member of the CFU and you're pursuing compensation through the ARAC initiative. If you're not a former farmer or title deed holder, then I agree you have no right. If you have never owned property and have no right to compensation and you are a CFU member, then you don't have a right to vote here.
Okay. I'll back that up. I fully agree with the President there. I am farming at the moment. I'm a member of the CFU, a full member, but I'm a part of ARAC, and I insist on having my vote here.
Fair enough, you're correct.
Okay. Bearing that in mind, those who, again, can I ask now, those that are in this room that vote for those same 10 people, can you stick up your hand? Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry. On all those in the room today that agree with what the nominations that Susie Haynes has just put out there, please can you put up your hands? Sorry, Susie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Count again. Stick your hands up here. Sorry, you need to tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23. So the vote is taken. The 10 people on that list are unanimous. All right? These are the, I'm going to put these out anyway because I think it's fair that we do. The 8 people that were up for re-election, okay? Again, Ian McKersey, Robin Willie Birch, Toc Arnold, Byron Dodigan, Stuart Beverley, and Ian Kay, you're already in, Ian Gibson, and Patrick Ashton. On those members, those 6 members that we've just mentioned, is anybody up for re-election or want to back them for re-election? 1. No, there's 2 that are on the other list. That's fine. That's why I said take those 2 off. They've been already elected. All right. Ian McKersey and yourself. Okay. And Ian Kay. All right. So anybody who's prepared to vote for the other 7 people that are still, or 6 people that are still, that are up for re-election. Does anybody want to vote for them? 1. Okay. The vote is unanimous. We have 10 new members of the ARAC committee. Thank you, guys.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we get to the final part of our agenda. Any other business? Yes, John.
I'm a bit confused. We were voting for those 10 people in block or in block 8? Okay, but basically somewhere we'd like to invite some of those in those 10 and some of those in the So how do we do that?
So yeah, basically what we're saying is when you look at, there's only 10 members of the ARAC committee, okay?
Yeah, I understand that, but you basically voted for one of those who are external to be part of that, and then we basically voted for those, whereas I do believe it's a then meeting of the original and the new.
So I'm not disagreeing, yeah. There's four of the original members of the ARAC committee that have been re-elected into the new committee. Those were Ian McKersey, Ian Kay, and Stuart Beverley. Is that correct? Who else is there? No, that's the three. There's three of them. Stu Beverley, Ian Gibson, and Ian Kay. He's there. McKersey? No, he wasn't on this list. He's not on this list. He's not on the new list. So this is the new list here. There it is there. Yeah. So she read out the new list. It's there, yeah. There's 3 people from the... Yeah, so there's 3 people from the original list that has actually been re-elected. Yes. Yeah, he stood down, but he's not elected into the new committee, no. He's not elected into the new ARAC committee. Okay, because there's 10 new members, or sorry, a lie. There's 7 new members and 3 re-elected members. Understood.
Director, could you just sort out for the paperwork as to who exactly is in?
Okay. Yeah. Susie, can I ask you to read the names again? I'll take them with the proxies, yeah? Where were these?
Aidan Brooke-Jackson, Ian Barker, Gordon Chance, Georgina Brown, Angus Selby, Dion Taron, Mike Dahl, and current committee members Ian McKersey, Ian Kay, and Stuart Beverley.
Okay. Sort it out afterwards. Yeah, I think so. That's tidied that up. Thank you, Director. Any other business? Anybody else? Trevor?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to say, I think it's really, really positive that we have title deed holders from the diaspora who are going to be part of this committee. I think it's going to be really good in helping with the communication and also getting a feeling from outside as to what others are thinking. So, yeah, I think it's a very positive move and long overdue. Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other business? Okay, there's some keys up here from somewhere, Toyota of some kind.
Toyota with the giraffe.
Okay, very good. Okay, now, Mr. President, I have a comment, because it was my understanding in the CFU thing that we're not allowed proxies, and now you say, well, in the mandate for ARAC, it doesn't say anything about it, doesn't stop having proxies. If we had known, I think we could have rustled up, maybe not all paid up members, but 700 farmers who would have supported ARAC as it is. Anyway, it's just as a comment. Thank you very much.
I just want to once again recognize the contributions which the outgoing ARAC committee has made over the years. And I think they deserve a round of applause. As I said before, a foundation has been set for us both to build on. And we need to embrace this and move together. So if we can have a round of applause for the outgoing members.
Okay, thank you all for your attendance, and appreciate your, I think we've done any other business. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.